All right, this is chapter 4 of the latest How to Succeed in Evil book, Season of the Lynx that I'm editing here. And I'm really enjoying making these videos, and I hope you're enjoying watching them. So, at the beginning right here, there's an interesting thing that is sort of a general rule of thumb. So, after his last heroic failure to stop Brainatar from poisoning the city reservoir, Bryce Warner, a.k.a. the Lynx, had earned himself a wrecked supercar, a concussion, and a lasting sense of shame. So obviously we can get rid of the to stop. But see this adjective here, it can just go away. After his failure to stop Brainatar from poisoning the city war, earned himself a wrecked supercar, a concussion, a lasting sense of shame. Right? So that's quicker. And generally, anytime you can cut an adjective out, you've done yourself and your reader a favor. The next day, he was insufferable, draped over his bed, whining about his failure and his burden. So I think maybe day after. I don't know why I want to do that, but probably doesn't matter. He was insufferable, draped over his bed, whining about his failure and his burden. He refused to eat. And threw his plate of food through a plate. And even threw a plate of food at his loyal butler. So I don't think we need this had brought him there, because obviously, I mean, butlers bring food. That's what they do, right? With aplom's the wrong word. Cuthbert ducked a missile with aplomb. It's, I think maybe we want and calmly suggested. So calmly, any word that ends in ly like that is an adverb of manner, and you just, you want to kill all of those you can. Maybe all of them. So every time I see something that ends in ly, I'm like, I don't know. Because do we really need it? Cuthbert ducked the missile and suggested might benefit. So the sense I want to get there is that, and you don't know this if you haven't read the earlier books, but that Cuthbert is very calm, reasonable, just kind of, doing his duty. Oh, someone threw a dish at my head. And the question is, do I get that out of Cuthbert ducked the missile and suggested that Master Warner? I think you do, or I think it's close enough, because somebody throws a plate at my head, I'm going to be upset. But Cuthbert just does it as a matter of course. Okay, so we've got a tense thing going on here, right? So when I wrote this draft, so we're kind of in this pastish tense, past perfect tense, completed action in the past, something like that. And we've run into trouble with. Bryce leapt from his bed, thrown open the window. Bryce had leapt from his bed, thrown open the window. Is there a way to make it more simpler? I don't know if the correct grammatical term is simple past here. This is where a good proofreader will help you. But I'm just trying to make it shorter and clearer, and then have somebody else really comb through the grammar. Which is a strange thing, because most readers don't care about grammar. Most readers care if you bog down the story or you're confusing. But most readers aren't, Conan the Grammarian. And I find if you edit for maximum clarity, you generally follow all the rules of grammar automatically. All the useful ones, at least. So let's look at this. After his failure to stop Brainatar from poisoning the city reservoir, Bryce Warner, Cuthbert ducked the missile and suggested that Master Warner might benefit from professional. So it wasn't Cuthbert had ducked. So we've kind of shifted this. Your eyes will cross. You're going nuts thinking about this. We kind of shifted tense as we moved from this introductory sentence into the telling of the story. So let's see what happens if we just make it shorter. Bryce leapt from his bed, threw open the window. And now there's a gag here, and I think a mere second story window at that. I think the gag is better served if you do this. Now that's interesting because why are you telling me it's a second story window? I promise you it's going to pay off in a second. And threatened to leap out and end it all. Okay, this should be low, growling, absurd voice of the lynx. He said, "I've earned my suffering." "Of course, said Cuthbert. "Haven't we all? But there's no need to go making it worse." "Of course, sir," said Cuthbert. "Haven't we all? No need to go making it worse." So as he approached with hands outstretched, this is the last little question I have here. Yeah, I think that's right. That could be a second sentence, right? You could break that into, there's no need to go making it worse. So maybe we do it this way. "Of course, sir." Something like that. "Not one more step, Cuthbert. I swear I'll do it." And then something inside Cuthbert snapped. For his master's bizarre excursions and sleepless nights had also been his worry and insomnia. His bones ached, his vision was blurry, and his patience had finally snapped. Okay, so we got this thing. He wanted to be a hard man. Then this would be his first lesson. Cuthbert said, "Very well, sir," and pushed him out the window. All right, so here's the question, right? I've got this gag. Do I need any of this stuff to set it up beforehand? I think the answer is no. Right? So we could just do this, and I think it's funnier. "Not one more step, Cuthbert. I swear I'll do it." "Very well, sir," said Cuthbert, and pushed him out the window. Right? That should do it. "Very well, sir." And pushed him out the window. Now, do we need to know any of this stuff afterwards? Oops, it's totally gone. So we can rewrite it. It's no big deal, right? Do we need to understand Cuthbert's long-suffering frustration at this point in the book? There are other books in the series, and Cuthbert's been pretty beat up. Is anybody going to come to this thing and read it without having read the other ones? Do we need to throw them the signpost? Probably. So let's think about this. All right, so I'm going to go back and take some of that information, the long sleepless nights, the suffering, the worry, and put it in there. But I think that structuring it like that makes that joke work much better. Okay, so I'm going to keep on editing. Probably not going to edit too far into this book because it'll get into perhaps spoilers. But the editing continues.